Hello, happy Monday, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time when we can relax and craft together for about an hour in the evening. And we work on projects from beginning to end so you can see the whole process and ask your questions along the way, and we can just make stuff together. So thanks for joining me. I have been off for a week, so I'm back. It's good to be back here. Man, I feel like I haven't made anything in a while. I feel totally rusty, so this will be fun getting back into the swing of things again. I missed all you guys. I was out, my husband and I went to New York City for our 15-year wedding anniversary, so we did a little trip for that, and now we're back home in the hot heat again. It was pretty warm when we were there too. But we're gonna work on making up the Around Four Corners by Rachael Daisy. This block, it was block 10 that you guys started on Thursday last week, but I was gone, so I didn't get it started at all. So I am going to work on this today. I'm actually going to spend a little bit time over the next couple weeks, I think, trying to catch up on some of these Splendid Sampler 2 blocks. So if you want to join in, it's thesplendidsampler.com, and all of the blocks are free for the first 20 blocks, and there'll be 100 blocks total. So this is block 10. I'm super stoked. We'll get working on that today. But first, I have to show you this. I bought this when I was in New York. It looks like a stapler, but this is actually a tiny, tiny sewing machine. Look, there's the needle. It's got this little bobbin thing on the side. I'm trying to figure it out. I tried it once just to sew, just to give it a try, right? But I don't know how to, like, it's almost like it ties a bunch of knots, and I don't know how to end it so I can take it off of the off of this little machine, the thread off of the machine. So I don't quite know how it works, but I wanted to show you guys it. It's kind of fun, and it doesn't have any bobbin. Like, it doesn't have a top thread and a bottom thread. It's just one thread that magically works somehow. So I'll show you that too. I gotta try it. I haven't tried it on fabric. I just tried it on a little piece of paper that I had. Oh, and it comes, look, it comes in this little itty bitty container too. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna flip you around and let's start playing for the day. Okay, here we are. Back at it again. So, all right, here is the block that we're going to be doing. Oh, but I got to show you guys. So here's this little itty bitty case that this comes in. Itsy bitsy teeny weeny mini sewing machine. It is from Flying Tiger Copenhagen. I've never been there before. It was this little shop in New York. I think on Broadway. But I think, you know, it hasn't been there since I've been there last. So, all right, I just want to let's try and sew these two pieces together. So I have the thread. This is how it came. So I did not wind this. There were instructions for how to thread the machine, but man, they were lacking. So I don't know, you get it up in here and then you twist it around the tension disc a little bit, but it didn't really show how. So everything's just kind of in here. And then there's a needle in here. It looks like I can replace that needle if I feel like it, so that's fancy. And then underneath here, look, it even has some feed dogs down there. But this is it. It's just the one thread. So I just kind of want to give it a try. So I'm just sticking it right underneath this bit. Maybe the thread has to come the front way. All right, get those edges matched up. All right, okay, so I can lift that up. That makes sense. All right, let's give it a try. So it's literally like a handheld stapler. So you just staple, it even makes the, oh my gosh, look. Okay, so it didn't do that with the paper, but look, it's advancing the stitches for me. It's even moving the stitches. I thought I had to do the stitch length myself, but nope, we got, oh, it's a pretty big stitch length. It's maybe like 1/8 of an inch stitch length. But look, it's from Flying Tiger Copenhagen, Gretchen, but you know, I'm sure it's probably made in China. You had one of these that came with the first sewing machine you purchased. Oh my gosh, in 1980, Linda. So what's cool about this is that it doesn't, it's just this one thread. It doesn't have a bobbin thread. So look, it actually makes a chain stitch on this side, which is kind of cool. So it's kind of like those, like, you know, like if you have a bag of bird seed or something, like those big bags that you can just pull and it all come apart. It's kind of like that sort of stitch, which is kind of interesting. But I don't, the problem is, like, let's say I want to stop sewing right here. I don't know how to stop. Like it's all like intertwined and connected here. And if I pull it off, then all my stitches are gonna go away. So I don't know, let's just try, maybe I can just, I don't know, see, herein lies my problem. Maybe I have to just stitch till I'm off the edge. Oh, see, I guess maybe that's it. So I just stitched till I was off the edge. Let's trim this. Oh, it's just so silly. But yeah, so now, if I pull, all this is going to come out. So I wonder if I have to, oh, here we go. I'll just pull that last, I need a needle or pin. There we go. I just have to pull that last little thread through maybe. There we go. Now we're locked in place. It's so silly. I just love it. For weird. What a cute little thing. And it was like $6 or something. It was like just ridiculous. So now how do I get the thread? But see, the thread is still stuck in there really weird. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe I just have to, maybe I have to yeah, I don't know. So that's the problem. I don't know how to end it, and now the thread's kind of stuck in there silly. So I don't know. Anyway, fun new, my fun new toy. I'm tempted to just kind of keep this in my bag for some sort of emergency craft project. Like you could put a couple little pieces of fabric in there or something, right? Stitch some things together. Little Zen time. It holds together. It's like a legit sewing machine. Well, there you go. It's pretty loose, but still, 2 pieces of fabric sewn together. All right, let's get to business, people. So here is, yes, exactly, Nolene. It's like the sewn top of horse feed bags. Not that I know what that looks like, but I'm guessing it's like bird feed bags or dog food bags. Just like that little chain stitch thing. But yeah, if you pull on the one thread, it all comes apart. So, you know, if you're doing a lot of sewing, that'd be a huge bummer. But kind of neat. I like that whole chain stitch thing at the bottom. Okay, you guys, we have this new block. Well, it's new for me. I know a lot of you guys have started this already and finished it. And I've seen a few of them in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group on Facebook, and they are looking amazing. This is number 10, which also means that it is my block that I get to add some extra color. So I've put some parameters. Oh yeah, it could work, Deborah, it could work for a hem if you needed a quick, like, hem up, you know, some pants or something. But I put some parameters to my Splendid Sampler 2 blocks. And one parameter is that I'm always going to try and use a white background. I know there's a lot of quilts out there like that, but I've never done one. So I'm trying to keep to a white background. And then typically, for all my blocks, I'm using kind of these blonde, very light tans and yellows. I want a very light feeling quilt when I'm done. I don't want a lot of high contrast. Like I don't want a lot of darks and lights. I just want a lot of lights. But every 5 blocks, I want to add some more color. So I have these guys picked out as like my little pops of color that will happen within this quilt. And it is block number 10, which means that's a multiple of 5. It's time for some more color. So we got to choose some colors here. So because I want the background to be white, I'm gonna leave this white. And that also means that these little doohickeys, these inside curve shapes, like these bits, are also gonna be white. So you know what? Let's make some notes. I believe the navy floral piece, that's what that represents. That's what I'm gonna do as white. All right, so we need to pick all the other colors, and I do want a pop of something. I'm kind of tempted to have it be like one of these circles and then do the rest. I mean, it could be cool with this being the pop of color, but I don't know, maybe it's just a little more interesting to have it not be so centered, my pop of color. So I think let's have a circle be a pop of color, and then all these other bits will be our kind of normal lightness colors here. So let's pick. So there's opportunity to really kind of show off 3 fabrics here. Actually 4 with that little center. So let's maybe try and make them as different as possible. How about this? That's awfully cute. Little flowers. Or we could make them all a variation of flowers. That might be neat. Like here's another flower. I feel like we've been using this fabric a lot, but that's fine. When we're done with the quilt, we'll have used all of the fabrics a lot. You're still on the fence about making little borders for the blocks. I would go for it. I mean, overall, Gretchen, they're not going to really stand out. I don't think the whole quilt will blend together, most likely when you're done. I kind of like this idea of different flowers, although all of these, a lot of my fabrics have flowers in. But, you know, these are some flowers. Okay, let's pick a flowery statement piece. Like maybe this guy here. That could be kind of fun. I mean, that's really out there. But like I said, this is my one block every once in a while I do want to have as a pop of color. So, and this I could actually, you know, maybe, you know, have a mix of colors. I could have some green and whatever in, and then like a little bit more pink. This is just, ooh, look how pretty that flower is. Okay, I think maybe let's try that. There's an awful lot of cute things in here though, isn't there? All right, I also need that little centerpiece yet. So it'd be nice if we could make that special somehow too. You know, maybe that should be our little center. Maybe the color should be the center. Oh yeah, we could fussy cut something. Oh yeah, let's try that. We could fussy cut, you know, this one we have like that little duck or something. Ooh, okay. Yeah, let's fussy cut one of these silly little animals in here. Look at that elephant. I do kind of like that duck. Maybe there's something a little more subtle, like here's a pretty subtle kitty cat. He says meow, that's kind of cute. That would kind of go with our colors a little bit. It'd be really subtle. I think that would fit in our thing. I don't want him to get cut off either. Maybe this guy. He's a little smaller and closer to the edge, and I'm thinking I'm less likely to chop him apart. So let's, oh gosh, but look at a monkey. I can't decide. I think we're gonna do the little chicken. He's kind of cool. So all right, yeah, we'll fussy cut that little center piece around here. The center is tiny. Oh yeah, so yeah, we got to keep that in mind. So this is probably 2 inches and 2 inches and 2 inches approximately, right? So yeah, I think we'll be able to fit him in because he'll have like the little arches around him. I think we'll do that guy. Okay, decisions made. I think we got all our fabrics here. So the one cream print square, that's our fussy. I'm just gonna write fussy. That's this thing, our fussy cut. Fussy cut just means that we are on purpose gonna cut into our fabric in a weird spot, like we're being fussy about it, how we're cutting it in, so we can frame up a little character or something. And we're gonna frame up this little, you know, goofy gray chicken who's kind of sweet. I kind of like him. So all right. The navies, we're gonna do the white instead. And the 4 rectangles, okay, what we really need is a 2-inch square and a 2-inch by 3.5-inch rectangle of each of these colors. So those, we're gonna be making like these kind of neato bits here. And that's what we're gonna make our circles out of. So like ultimately, you know, a circle will be like that. You know what? And that will be, you know, this little part here is gonna be this different colored thing here, which will be our white, I believe. So, okay, let's try that. I think we got it. So let's just start going through our cut list. Well, first of all, let's put all the other stuff away because otherwise we'll get confused real quick here. I got my bin over here that has all my whole project in, basically, all the fabric. So I have a whole pile of white. It's kind of organized here too. So here's white. I happen to have just like tons of half cuts of these white. I mean, I'm definitely not going to use all this, but maybe I'll use some in like borders or sashing or something later. So I have it on hand. Then I have all our kind of like fat quarters and fat eighths I've been using so far. This is that main batch that I'm doing for most of my color. And then, you know, then the specialty ones that I pop out every once in a while. Well, I cut the background slightly bigger. Oh, that's a good question, Elena. I think that'd probably be a good idea for this one. Anytime you're doing some applique or some embroidery, it doesn't hurt to, if it's possible, to leave the block a little bit larger, because sometimes when you hand stitch, just from the act of holding it and bending it and stuff, the background fabric will kind of scrunch in, you know, and you might just be kind of stitching. It might be just be like scrunching in a little bit, so it might be making the sides smaller and smaller. So it's not a bad idea at all to just kind of leave it a little bit bigger, then do the applique, and then come back and cut it down. So if I can, I will. However, it looks like there's pieces here. It looks like this background is pieced in a way that I'm not sure I'll have extra. So I don't know. I think I'm just going to stick with the instructions for this one and see what happens. Joe, I think it's deceivingly difficult. I think it's actually rather simple. I mean, it looks like it's all crazy pieced, right? But it's really, we're really just making a block that looks like this, and then making a few 4 blocks that look like this. So both of those by themselves are relatively simple, right? And this is what's going to turn into a circle. So we just put that, we're appliquing 4 circles onto that simple block. And it's like an optical illusion. Those circles are creating, because that one part of the circle is going to be a different color, it's creating this optical illusion that we did all this crazy curved piecing, but we really didn't. It's just some applique circles, which we've done actually a lot so far. I'm kind of surprised. We did we've been doing a lot of circles and a lot of applique so far on the Splendid Sampler, the Splendid Sampler 2, but that's perfectly fine. Everything is turning out awfully cute, I think. All right, so here are our colors. Let's just get that down to the side. We're gonna start, we're gonna go in order. So 1 cream print square, that's this, our fussy cut. We need 3 inches. So I am going to fussy cut this. Let's see if I have anything to help me. So I don't have a 3-inch square. If I had a 3-inch ruler, I could just center the guy right on there. I don't have that. So I am going to just use a slightly bigger ruler. And I can actually, what I find helpful, and I sometimes do this when I'm squaring up something too, I will take some tape and kind of frame up the area a little bit. So I'm just putting tape on the 3-inch area, and that's going to help me kind of center this guy right in the middle. So there, now I can kind of see if he's centered or not. I want to get him like basically right in this little inch mark, I think. That's what's going to do the trick, I think. Yeah. Ooh, look, I'm right up at the edge. Oh, that's awesome. So he's like perfectly centered. So I don't actually even need to cut this edge here. I can just cut this, and then I'll rotate it and cut the other bits. So we're good right there, I think. So there we go. See, we got our 3" by 3" piece here. Okay. I'm going to just cut up to the 3". And you know, sometimes you're fussy cutting. Like if I wanted this you know, elephant, I'd have to cut right in the middle of my fabric, and I'd have a big hole. But that's fine. That's the nature of fussy cutting. So you end up. Oh, I should have pressed this first. Maybe I still will. We'll just run it by the iron here quick. We already made that one cut, but oh well. Get a little flatter here. It's a great block, very deceptive. Yeah, that, like Noeline, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to be doing some crazy curved piecing. But then I was like, oh, it's just applique circles. That's nice. Okay, Elena, it is pieced. Just add 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of the length of the bigger pieces and add the same to the width. Oh, that's true. So like, yeah, we could make our pieces a hair bigger just to account for that we're going to be dealing with hand applique, where we may run into our fabric shrinking up just a hair. So that's not a bad idea, making it a bit bigger. Okay, so here's the rest of that fussy cutting. Oh, I'm cutting that poor kitty. That's okay. All right, here's our little goofy gray chicken. He says, Coca-Cola. All right, one done. Let's see. Next up is the navy floral piece, but I am using the white. So let's get that going here. Let's see. So we need, so this is doing that thing again where it's giving us a bigger piece, and then we cut it to smaller pieces. So I'm going to skip cutting that bigger piece since I'm just kind of cutting as we go. And I'm going to just work on these smaller pieces. So I need, let's see, I need 4, okay, well, let's see. These two rectangles that are this big and 2 rectangles that are this big. So it has one measurement that matches, so that might be easy for us to cut first. Oh, but that's where you're saying making it a little bit bigger. All right, so I'm gonna putz around with that, maybe making those a little bit bigger. But these 2-inch circle or 2-inch squares are for the circles, so that's going to be for these 4 pieces. Those I don't need to adjust the size for, so I'm going to start there. I'm going to just make 4 2-inch squares. So since I need 4, I need to like cut an 8-inch strip and then cross cut it a bunch of times to get those 4 2-inch squares. So let's find an area where we got, you know, the best place for an 8-inch cut, and I'm not really seeing one. We might just have to, I might just go all the way up here, or just do 8 inches here. I suppose we could do it here and then just cut off this white blob, and we'll use this some other time. I think maybe we'll do that. I'll just clean up this edge, and I don't know. You know what? I'm going to cut this edge, this long edge here. So let's get that a little pressed. I'm not worried about cutting a little extra, just because I know I'll eventually use it somewhere in this quilt. Like I'm going to need small itty bitty pieces at some point. So I'm not worried about wasting fabric. And I'm probably going to end up using all my scraps in the back of my quilt. It's just something I've been having like a ton of fun doing lately. Using up all the fabric in the quilt. If it didn't get on the front of the quilt, it's getting on the back of the quilt. So I might do that again with this. So I'm not worried about cutting too much, although this is quite a bit actually. Let's see, 8 inches. Oh man, that's only this little bit here. So, well, fine. I'm not going to cut all the way up the edge. But we do need to cut a few pieces later, so I might as well get a good of a straight edge as I can, just as far as I can cut on this cutting board. Is a little small. But I'm going to just get a nice straight edge here. I'm twisting a little bit. Okay. And you know what? Just because I have that nice straight edge, and I don't want to move my fabric because it's all sitting nice. I don't want to bend it or anything. I'm going to just do the double ruler method. So I'm going to put this ruler at 2 inches right on the edge of the fabric. Okay, that looks good. Oh, I just moved it. All right. Looking good again. And now I'm going to do the 8 or so inches. We're going to go a little bit bigger so I can clip the ends. Oh, Jeanette, you've already made your block. Yeah, I think a bunch of you have made the blocks already, and they look awesome from what I've seen. Like, they just all are so unique, and I don't know, they all just look clever and fun and sweet. All right, so there we go. That's our 2 inches. And you know, I'm just gonna, since I cut extra, I'm just gonna just be really rough here because I'm gonna trim this off anyway, so I don't need that to be perfect. All right, let's move this to the side for now. All right, let's get our 4 pieces out of here. I think the easiest way, you know what, I'm gonna even use my rotating cutting mat for extra easiness. So I'm going to, ideally I want to reduce the amount of times I have to cut just because it takes forever. All this cutting takes so long. So I'm going to just fold this in 2 pieces, or fold it in half twice. So now I should just be able to cut the fold and that edge, and then I should just be able to rotate my mat and cut the other 2. So I should have 2 inches here. Yeah, we're good. So I'm going to just line up the tops and bottoms. There we go. I'm going to trim that edge. Ooh, a hand weight to hold your ruler steady. I haven't heard of that before, a hand weight. Oh, you mean like an actual hand weight, like a dumbbell or something? That's kind of interesting. I hadn't thought about that. You know, I have these stickies, and these were my favorite, one of my favorite things with the first Splendid Sampler. They really, what are they called? True Grips. They really, really help a ton to keep my ruler from slipping. Like, they're my favorite thing for keeping the ruler from slipping. But sometimes I'm a little off, like, you know, like if this isn't on the edge of the, if it's not on the surface, then I kind of pivot a little. And these are kind of getting a little old, so they're not sticking as well. I think I just need to wipe them off and then they'll be fine. See, now I'm going to just rotate this so I don't have to move my little pieces. And let's get that other side of the 2 inches done. I have just enough here. I just need to chop off that fold and we should have it. Huh. I have never tried that, putting a dumbbell down to hold the ruler down. That is fascinating. I'm gonna have to try that, especially for like large cuts that you have to do like a really big one. That'd be really interesting to try. All right, so we should have our 4 pieces. So again, these are going to be right here. And you know, actually one thing I didn't think about is maybe I shouldn't have gone with such a light bit here, a light fabric here, because this is going to be the circles that go around, and it's going to be pretty subtle. But you know what? Subtle's okay, right? I think that's fine. This whole quilt's gonna be subtle. I'm not worried about it. Okay, that's done. The non-subtle part is gonna be these circles, I think. All right, let's try something else. Although this colorway is awfully cute with this dark bit in here with the white. I don't know, we're gonna try something else. I'm not gonna be so high contrasty as this, even though this is adorable, but we're just going to keep it light on light. Okay, all right. Next up, oh, we're still continuing with the white. So this is where I could maybe cut my pieces a hair bigger to allow for if my piece shrinks down a hair when I applique. So in theory, we got a couple pieces here. We got these two pieces. Let's see, those are the 2 by 2 1/4 by 6 1/2. So we'd in theory need to make them a little bit bigger on all sides. So why don't we we'll just cut 7 inches. So let's just add a half inch to it all. So we'll do 2 3/4. How about that? I don't think I'm going to need that much extra, but I don't know. We'll give that a go. I think maybe just 2 1/2 will be fine, won't it? Yeah, because we'll be adding a half on here and here. Let's just do 2 1/2. And then we'll make these. Yeah, so the 3 inches doesn't have to change, but we just need the sides bigger. So that we'll do 2 1/2 as well. So we'll do 2 1/2 by 3. Okay, I got a plan. Got a plan. Yes, Jeanette, this is my 10th block where I'm adding the brighter fabric. This is the brighter fabric I'm adding. I want one of these circles to be brighter. It would have been cool in the middle now that I think about it, but I don't know. And ultimately, in the whole quilt, I thought it'd be kind of fun to have it kind of a little more off-center from the block. But I don't know, maybe now that piece would have been cool. But oh well, decision made. We're doing one of these circles is going to be that brighter color. So all right, let's cut this white. So we have 2 1/2. I could just cut a long strip that's 2 1/2 inches. The strip would need to be like 20 inches though, it looks. 20 inches cut down. So I don't know if we have that much with this. So we might have to cut 2 10-inch-ish pieces. Let's see, how big's this here? This edge. Let's see, we got a 10-inch. That's cutting awfully close. I don't think we have quite enough there. Where did we cut that 2-inch piece off? Oh yeah, that's not going to be enough. Well, this is 10 inches, so I could cut 2 almost 10-inch pieces. So that would be 2 1/2. I could cut a 5-inch piece, cut it in half, and then okay. I think I got this maneuvered here. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm going to. I'm talking to my. if I'm talking crazy, sometimes I'm just saying everything in my brain out loud to figure out a situation. So I didn't have an area that was like 20 inches long, so I could cross cut all my 2 1/2-inch bits out of it. So I'm gonna make 2 10-inch pieces here. Oh, 2 opposite circles, red. That could be kind of cool too. All right, so we're gonna do this at 5 inches because I want 2 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oop, that's not 5. Sheesh. See, that's the way I have to count. Count special. I want 2 2 1/2-inch strips out of this. And I suppose it doesn't have to be perfect because we already made those a little bit bigger. I don't think I pressed this either. Okay, I think that's good. And you know what? Again, since I'm going to be trimming this down, I'm not going to work hard to cut this bottom piece. I'm just going to trim the bottom. Do what's easy. That's what I think. Ah. Okay. So you know what? First up, I think I'm going to just press this because I didn't, and since I'm cutting it all nice, I want it to be a little bit better. I should have done that before, but we're doing it now. Thinking out loud, I do it all the time. Your husband thinks you're crazy. I think I'm start to be crazy when I think out loud when I'm the only one around. Sometimes it just makes more sense when you say it out loud. Okay, let's cut this, cut a 2.5 inch bit out of here. When we talk to ourselves, it's because we need an expert opinion. I like that, Bonnie. I like that. Okay, there we go. Now I have a bunch of 2-inch pieces. So what do I need? I need a 3-inch piece, 2 3-inch pieces, and 2 7-inch pieces. I think I'm going to cut them together. So we'll place this on top of here, and I'll cut the 3-inch piece first. So let's get a nice edge. We'll just use this guy. So I'm going to put one of my lines along the bottom edge to make sure it's nice and straight. Lines of my ruler. And we will just trim off these end nubbins. And just to make it easier for me, I'm going to rotate it. And we'll do 3 inches. Let's double check. Yep, 3 inches. I always have to double check before I cut. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Ooh, it's a little warm for a sweater. I don't know why I have my sweater on today. Okay, there's one, and this only goes up to 6.5 inches, and now I'm doing 7 inches. So let's get this guy out instead. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I always get freaked out. All right, let's line up our edges again. All right, and these little bits on the end will be scraps. We'll use them in the back of our quilt somewhere. Okay, so this is our pieces here. So next up, we can sew these together. We'll cut the pieces for the circles as well, I think. So today we're cutting. Tomorrow we'll start assembling these. I am going to be doing the freezer paper method. So the method that was suggested. We haven't done that, the freezer paper method yet for applique, and I thought that'd be fun to try. I'm curious if I can make my circles look okay with the freezer paper method. So there we go. That's going to be our block. Obviously, once we lose the seam allowances, it'll match up a little bit more. There, it'll be more like this. There we go. So that's our main deal. These will ultimately be our inside circles. So we're gonna get him all snug in there. And then I got these. These will be the outside colors. So let's see if we can mimic that. So it'll be kind of like that will be a circle. Our one like super duper bright one. And then we got some paler ones. So all right, we need to cut these fabrics out yet. I think it's gonna be cute. This is maybe a little bright, but we're gonna go with it. Decision was made and I'm gonna stick to it. But we got our main pieces cut out here. So yeah, so it's just a simple block, and then the all these circles are appliqued to the top of it, which is kind of fun. Okay. You got a ruler, a circle tracer ruler. Oh man, I need to I don't have any good devices for circles, so it'll be interesting. We do have the little picture here. What I'll probably do is I'll probably just trace this as best I can 4 times onto the freezer paper and then just try and cut it really well. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'll end up doing. Or maybe I'll cut one of these out of like a harder piece of like out of my postcard, because that's a little thicker, and then I can easily trace around the postcard 4 times onto the freezer paper. Although might as well just trace it on. That's just as fast. I don't know. Planning it out, but we'll get to that tomorrow. Tonight we'll just finish up this cutting for sure. Okay, rectangles. So this again, we have a direction for like bigger pieces. I think this is kind of if you're planning out your whole quilt at once, then just gather this for this block and then move on to your next block and gather the larger amount. But we're gonna go to the cut down amount. So like for example, this says 4 rectangles that are 4 inches by 5 inches of different prints for the circles. And then you're actually taking that and cutting it down even more to the actual pieces that we need. I'm skipping that and just cutting to the pieces that that I need. So, okay, we need 1 square each that are 2 inches and 1 rectangle each that's 2 inches by 3.5. So I'm gonna try doing this all at once by layering the fabrics together. I'm gonna press them, but I just wanna see what I have going on here, because all these fabrics are probably a little different sized. Oh, so far they're these weird like short ones. Use lined the paper to trace and then folded the paper circle into 4. All right, here's this. Oh, and Nolene, you suggest get 2 pieces of the freezer paper together. All right, we got a good little thing going here. All right, so I'm gonna just press these and I'm gonna layer them one on top of the other. And then I think what we're gonna do is, so I need a 2-inch square and a 2 inch by 3.5. So if I can get like 5.5 inches on all these, which I think I have. Yeah, plenty. So I'm just gonna cut up a 2 inch and we're gonna have a bunch of scraps here, which is fine. That's gonna be easier for me. So all right, let's prep our fabric here. One at a time, and then I'm gonna layer them on top of each other. So we just need a little bit. Okay. Yeah, this one I'll put on last because it's goofy looking. Ooh, this has some selvage. I'll cut that off. Kitty scratch it in place. Okay, now our bright crazy one. I'm not gonna fussy cut this. I mean, I could make sure that I get some flowers in and stuff, but it is pieced a little bit, so I don't know, I don't want to bother fussy cutting it. So we are just going to land wherever it lands. And then this guy here. Oh man, I'm missing what you guys are saying for these circles, so you'll have to give me all your tips again tomorrow when we work on it. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna cut all of these at once. I think that'll make this a whole lot easier. So let's trim up our edge first. I'll make sure I'm getting everything. I think we're good. Right about, I think that'll do. You have to make sure that your blade's sharp enough to do the 4 pieces of fabric. And if you can't do 4 pieces of fabric with your blade, it's probably time to switch blades. All right, because I don't want to move this, since I have it all perfectly lined up, I'm going to do this double ruler method again. So 2 inches. All right. Looks good. I'm going to have a lot of weird edges, but that's okay. Like I said, I'll use up all the extra. Okay, done with all this fabric, which is awesome. All the bulk is away. And let's do these little pieces. So I'm actually gonna flip this guy around just because it had that weird edge and I want to cut all these edges all perfect at once. Yep, we got them all good right there. Let's get our little one out again. I like this square ruler, this 6.5 inch ruler. I think this is one of the ones I use the most for the Splendid Sampler. This 6.5 inch ruler. All the more reason you always want to have your safety on. I just kind of knocked it down on the table, and if I would have like knocked it all the way off with the blade up, I could have cut my toe off. That would have not been pleasant. Okay. Let's see. Let's get our 3.5 inch out of here. So I'll just use this for the 3.5. 3.5. Yep, that's what we need. Okay. Okay. All right, 3.5 bits, and then we need 2 inches. And then all the rest for right now will be scrap, but I will, like I said, use those later. This double ruler method is nice when you don't want to move your fabric. Like I have these 4 layers that are perfectly matching and I don't want to futz with them at all. I want them to stay in its place. All right, so all this is extra, but you know, they're good pieces. I'll use them later. All right, that is it for our pieces. So, okay, I have this and this. Let's kind of put these together just because I'm curious. So we have to make 4 shapes like these ultimately. So our little white squares, we'll go with those. I'm just going to kind of gather these all together so we can, we'll start sewing tomorrow. We didn't get that far today. Look, we got some of that flour in. But if I can get it all together like this, then we can get sewing right away on these. We don't have to rearrange then. And I'll probably just leave everything right here for tomorrow. So I like, oop, that doesn't go there, sheesh. There we go. I like laying everything out. So we have to just make 4 of these and then we rotate them later. But I like laying them out all in the same direction because then I can easily just grab and it'll be mimicking the same motions each time. So I won't hopefully mess myself up. So, okay, so this is, we got to sew all these together tomorrow. We'll sew them, the first 2, the 2-inch pieces, we'll do those first. And it looks like we press them open. And then we will sew the second piece on and press that open as well. And then the other thing we have to do is sew all these together. So let's get those laid out here as well. We'll do that first. So we got a top and a bottom, but we sew the middle first. Line these all up. And then we'll sew the top and bottom. All right, we are ready. So this should go rather quick tomorrow, I think. The the sewing and pressing of these, and then we can get on to the circle, which is the fun part. So we'll get tracing these. I'm hoping we can trace them onto our freezer paper and get them onto these little contraptions here. I'm thinking we can get those going and all the applique pieces prepped and ready to go for the most part tomorrow. And we'll work on this on Wednesday too. So typically for the Splendid Sampler 2 blocks, I only work on them on Thursdays and Fridays. But you know, I'm having a little makeup week for this one just because I was out of town. So we'll do this through Wednesday, and I'm not sure it'll take too much longer than Wednesday. I mean, there's a lot of hand stitching, so all of these will hand stitch down. So that might take me a long time. But wherever we're at, you know, we'll get the gist of it done by Wednesday, I think. And then wherever we're at with it, we're going to stop because Thursday is New Block Thursday, and we are going to start whatever is new there. But ooh, I'm liking the look of this. I'm excited. I don't think this is going to be too overwhelming. I think it's going to be just that nice little pop. You know, these ones have little pops of fun color in too, so I think it's all going to work out. So, all right, guys, I'm going to flip you around, and we will call it a night here, and we're just all set up for tomorrow. Hello again. So I'm super excited to be back here with you guys. Getting things situated again. I wasn't sure. Both my phone and my computer were dead right before I started here, so I'm happy we made it all the way through here. I will get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies. I know a lot of you like watching the replays on YouTube, especially if you can't make it live here. So it will go up there in about an hour or so. It'll be live after we're done here. And we'll work on this again tomorrow. I will make a new section for this again onto YouTube. So YouTube, if you look for my Splendid Sampler 2 section, it will have a bunch of little video lists underneath there, and I'm dividing it by block. So this will be the around four corners Rachael Daisy block. So if you look for that, and I'll put a number 10 on too for block 10. So just look for that, and then it'll have all the videos in there. Right now it'll be just this one, but once we get going on this, it'll all be in that one area, so it'll be easy for you guys to see. So I'll get that going. It was so nice seeing you guys all again. I miss all of you, so thanks for joining me again here tonight. And I'll be back here tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Have an awesome rest of your evening or afternoon if you guys are in the future. So see you later. Good night.